on the flow of the traffic. I think things will turn out. But I may not keep this video up. People not coming through. Let's see. What's up? What's up? Winter solstice vibes. The darkest days we're going through. I don't know. I was just feeling the vibe to share some things, share my recent experiences. Always realizing that people, it's all about application. But even if I'm speaking on things that aren't necessarily a technique, it still helps for application. Because if I tell again, there's somebody out there going through similar things that you're going through, and hence why we tell things through stories of what we go through. That's a big helper too. Others are giving insight, which I'm gonna do a thing fast on it, but I even coming to the aspect of as we watch YouTube videos and stuff like that, making sure we're not watching them, like we're watching it. If we are watching them, it could be other than watching TV or Netflix and no good or bad, right or wrong with any of it. To each his own with anything. It's like you could be imbalanced in anything you do, even drinking water. You know what I'm saying? It could be harmful if it's out of balance. So everything is just about a certain level of balance. When it comes down to it. Drink a little bit of this water right now. Soon get me this. I got this organic strawberry beer I'm gonna be drinking. But speaking of that, going through the darkness, the darkest days of the year, and as above, so below, as within, so without. The winter solstice just as a representation of, almost like going into hibernation, a meditative state. When we close our eyes, we're going into the darkness. That's how we visualize. That's how we tap into our imagination. Is by first closing our eyes and then, tapping into that inner light. DS Awoken, what's up? King Cole, what's up? Mona, give me the details, what's up? Ruby, Emmanuel. Certain channels. Yeah. But yeah, matter of fact, I went through a situation, with the queen where we had to part ways, physically in order to grow. As a matter of fact, I came across a floor video, which I've been kind of staying away from, even a video not just giving straight up insight that's not about right now, so doing my best to tap back into my inner realm, and my inner gnosis, and not because nothing is wrong with us reading books, nothing is wrong with us watching YouTube videos again, but it's making sure that we're not using certain external information as the end all be all, what I'm saying, and also tapping into our inner gnosis, because of course we gravitate towards some external aspects because it resonates, it resonates inside of us, but also seeing the nostalgia aspect, because matter of fact Netflix got the new season of Magicians. I've been on that recently, and seeing too, again, it's only if you let things get out of hand, you know what I'm saying? But again, we're also going through this hibernation vibe, and I had to do a lot of, like, again, also, like, I talk about, like, that inner dialogue, of accepting what is, awareness of something, that may not be in alignment with my destiny, and that's, and we say not in alignment with my destiny, but, like, at the end of the day, it is in alignment with your destiny, but it may be certain aspects that are like the negative aspects to get you to, the pressure to make a diamond, basically. But yeah, Netflix got all of the new seasons and stuff and little new shows coming out. Saturday Night Live had Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, and all of them on it. It ain't, again, there's a bigger soul mission, and I spoke on that in my last video. Like, as much as you could be like, oh, Michael Jackson, you know, he tripping, bleaching his skin, and this and that, but that he was a soul on a mission. You know what I'm saying? Like that had a bigger purpose. It's not about the human aspect of looking at it. Oh, matter of fact, take off my little work tag. Matter of fact, been working, getting it in, something I had to tap into because I was, again, I had to make sure I've been grounded, like grounded, like you're grounded. Yeah, like tapping into the root. But, what's up, Chanel Hart from Australia? The Juicy Fruit. What's up, all y'all? I'm gonna tap in, but yeah, I'm taking my time with this, because I'm gonna be getting into a few little things. Speaking on the different little shows coming up recently, and also the aspect of inner gnosis, of like right now, question ourselves and understanding our souls to the fullest. We're in a hibernation stage to go within, and just as above, so below, as within, so without. Again, y'all know that's the, one of my favorite hermetic principles. But like going into those darkest days, and then on the 25th is when the sun is reborn. When the sun is born. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be tapping into different little notes, so y'all bear with me. Getting to the root of things, like, again, subconscious, like our subconscious has an autopilot to it, so uh what's the deeper root of why you do things, you know what I'm saying? Like, and seeing like why, for myself, like why I did like certain aspects of what I did dealing with with the queen, you know, causing us to kind of part ways, but it was a bigger picture. But again, dealing with that emotional numbness, all that different energy having to come up. And again, that's what I was bringing up earlier. Like, I caught just a snippet because it was just meant for me to catch a snippet of it. But Florbroom talking about the aspect of, paying your own ticket. Like, you go out to eat. You could either put y'all money together and pay the bill together, or y'all each could pay your own bill separately. You know what I'm saying? And right now, a lot of us may have to pay our own bills separately. You know what I'm saying? As far as dealing with our karma, some of us may have had karma that is a little too heavy for us to be in a relationship and still deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And cleanse it. You know. So, a lot of us may have been experiencing maybe like separations. Some of us have been experiencing, coming together, and realizing too, like these little certain aspects of like, twin flames and stuff like that. Yeah, there's gonna be souls that have strong connections, don't get it twisted. But again, not to get too caught up in that, oh, the twin flame, this and this. What I'm saying, like looking for these different things, because again, it almost like the the religious aspect, like from the skillet to the frying pan energy. And what's been coming up a lot lately, dealing with my readings and everything. Again, the rebirth energy. Everyone having to become the food. The food card in the tarot and the Forrest Gump energy. What I'm saying, like being that person that's just open to learning. In my last video, I spoke on that, like tapping in to get more inner gnosis. You can't go into a question having what you think is the answer already. What I'm saying, like I use the example of like again, if I, for example, I go to a Judy Hall book and using her name as example, and it talks about, hey, Malachite is like this. It's about prosperity. When I go in to get inner gnosis, if I allow for my, egoic mind to hold on to that of like, oh well, yeah, it's because of prosperity. No, I gotta step into my inner gnosis and a vibe of like, all right, forget all the things I learned in the book. Like I want to know from my inner gnosis, like what is all the aspects of, Malachite, for the example. But again, we're going through that food energy, and the food card is connected to Uranus, and no, not your ass, Uranus, not Uranus. Matter of fact, excuse my slowness, cause I could feel it. And I'm, you know, cause I feel a purge coming up, out of my heart right now as I'm doing this video. Because I'm stepping back into my confidence of, like sharing and doing videos. Because again, I realize with that, like, there's no, perfect, like, yeah, we're going to be releasing heavy karmic energies, you know, but, it's always a level of growth going on or expansion in some way, form, or fashion. Our now moment is gonna always consist of becoming better than, I say better, but like just constantly growing, than more than the day before, quote unquote. So it's always gonna be a constant progression and realizing something that you could, be better at in that sense of it. But where was I? Yeah, let me let's see. Yeah, over that aspect too. Again, like a acknowledgement, acceptance, like dealing with stuff like on the inner gnosis of like accepting, because I've been having to connect with family, like earthly plane family, because I was being on the extreme of like, can't deal with earthly plane family, and again, everything goes back to a balance. And realizing that as a part of my growth too, just sit and observe without judgment, because that's another thing that's coming up strong. Again, like we may consciously be like, oh yeah, I'm not judging this person, but subconsciously you still may be judging situations. So you want to really get to the bottom of like that judgment situation and tapping into your inner realm to really see what's going on. And again, realizing that moving fast, that's the aspect of rushing. What I'm saying? There ain't no, there's no rush to get anywhere. What I'm saying? You're gonna align as you should. So there's never any rush to get anywhere in that sense of it. Never any rush. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Again, like methodology and application. You know, and even though it doesn't come with steps like a method, being vulnerable and sharing stories is a model of application. You know, again, like sharing, you know, your experiences and stuff may be a form of, you know, a form of methodology and application, even though it doesn't require technical methods, you know, in that sense. Because again, somebody else is going through the same thing, you know, in some way, form, or fashion. May not be exactly the same, but a lot. And again, that's like with soul contracts, you know, like, you know, I signed up as a soul to be somebody who speaks and to be, you know, a representation of like what we call a teacher in this realm, you know, and speak on certain things to help other souls, you know. So like certain souls was like, all right, you know, I'm lined up with Universal in his YouTube channel and what he's speaking on, and I was like, all right, now I'm gonna wake up, you know, these souls or help these souls. So again, it's about your own self. So excuse my diction when I say that. You know, it's about you waking your own self up. But again, like some of us are like catalysts for others to, you know, to help along the way, like that beacon of light type of energy, you know. And also remember, being vulnerable is application, and it is a form of healing. You know, talking about dark secrets, like talking to a psychiatrist. Matter of fact, speaking of talking to a psychiatrist, like the show Lucifer, where Lucifer, you know, basically being in Los Angeles and stuck in Earth, you know, dealing with, you know, certain aspects of going deeper into the subconscious. You see like that representation of tapping into the subconscious, and why psychiatrists always ask you like, well, how were you raised, how's your relationship with your mother, and things start to get juicy when Lucifer's mom actually come to Earth. She was being tortured in hell because his dad, you know, God, again they play that little role, but you know, God from quote unquote heaven, you know, and Lucifer being on Earth and torturing his mom, but then his mom breaks out and then she goes on Earth with him. But you know, yeah, he dealing with his mommy issues, you know, in which that's what all of us, you know, have to realize is, again, it all goes back to our upbringing, you know, and how we, you know, how our guardians, you know, raised us and stuff like that. Yeah, we definitely, again, dealing with that Saturn energy. And Saturn not nothing bad, you know. Again, Saturn is helping us to, you know, release these heavy karmic energies, you know. Just like graduation, where you get the black gown and the black box on your head. In essence, that's the same thing we're dealing with right now. You know, it's like a graduation, and we're going through this dormant stage. So if you feel yourself possibly doing things that, again, for all of us is uniquely different, but for the most part, you know, going through a hibernation stage, like you might be finding yourself like, you know, chilling more than what you would like, especially if you like, again, for what it's worth, we don't get stuck in these zodiac signs, but you know, uh, for example, I was gonna say like the signs of like Capricorn or Virgo, those type of signs that like to stay active and work and feel like they dying if they're not working. You know, these hibernation moments like feel like, oh shit, like the world ending. But again, let's have awareness. Don't place any judgment on the situation. You know, like don't judge what you're doing. Because I felt so much lightheartedness during the past few days by not judging, you know, things I've been going through. You know, but and back to the relationship situation. You know, again, where we paying our own karmic bills. You know, again, realizing me and my queen, we had to, you know, had a situation where our shadow boxing became intense. You know, and having to separate physically, you know, to, you know, really sit and understand what's going on with ourselves, you know. Again, neither good or bad, you know, it's just a part of the growth. Because again, it's not about us just trying to be in relationships to be in relationships. You know, we want to allow for us to be be working on ourselves to the fullest and being our greatest version, and that will attract, what I'm saying, like being authentically ourselves and being our greatest version and allowing for us to come together through that type of connection. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to grow with somebody and be working on yourself while you're with somebody, but some of us may have like some heavy lifting still that needs to be done, quote unquote. So it may take that separation, having to separate a little bit. And I know y'all probably typing in here, going in, but you know, yeah, we're going through that darkness right now. Again, bringing out them shadows. And matter of fact, and that's another thing. Again, like with the shadow boxing, like in a relationship vibe, you know, again, uh, me and the queen going through those situations. Basically, again, bringing up like triggering each other, what I'm saying, and triggering each other strongly to I had a situation of like coming out where I had some mommy issues of like always walking away. And I said mommy issue again, parental, I should say, because watching my parents, get into like certain little arguments and stuff like that, but then like not really resolving it and just kind of walking away and then just coming back the next day as if nothing happened and not really resolving it. But again, I chose to come down here in that situation, so it's neither good, bad, right or wrong. And again, back to awareness, acceptance of what is, because just because we accept what is, like your now is your now, what I'm saying, accept what is, like say for instance with me, manifesting my apartment, I have to accept what is that, yeah, I don't have it just yet, but I have to accept that, all right, I have been dealing with this codependent behavior. It is what it is right now, and I accept it, not in the sense of like, oh yeah, I like this. No, I don't like this. I want my own crib. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that goes back to that emotional aspect and truly expressing your emotions. Because if I act like, oh, it's just all good all the time, then again, that's off balance, and that'll turn into extreme where you're not truly being authentic to your emotions, and you're not gonna truly be aligning with your destiny and aligning or quote unquote manifesting things because you're not being authentic with your emotions. You're acting like you're happy in a situation that you're not truly happy in. But go check out my emotional video for that. I just recently did, which low key I think it might be on Patreon. I'm not sure. It may be on YouTube, but it may be a Patreon vid. But but yeah, like me dealing with that walking away aspect and walking away from the relationship, walking, but not say walking away in that sense, because it took her making a decision to walk away, but it was because of my energy of like, walking away from the situation, you know, and we had to realize like, all right, going deeper and what in our past caused us to, be going through these things in the moment, again, always asking ourselves, what's the, where's the roots to me acting like this and doing these certain situations. I mean, going back as far as you can, when you was 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, whatever, but going deep in the depths to really see what's going on, you know. But yeah, that definitely been something, I've been dealing with. Matter of fact, hence getting the pink candle, also to open up my heart chakra more and be open to being non-judgmental in all situations, and also giving forgiveness, like forgiving your humanity for anything you may have done in your in your past or recently or whatever the case may be. Forgive yourself. Like, we're not here to be harsh on ourselves. I mean, unless that's a part of your karma, and karma is just cause and effect. That's another thing. Like it's, some energies have took the religious aspect and moved it into the word karma and made karma seem like some fucking, because that's the aspect actually of like Santa Claus or Saturn Claus, you know, and if you're naughty or nice, if your karma is naughty or nice, you know, but it's not, you know, because that's what we're going through right now, you know, it's also all that shit is in connection with, you know, the true deeper esoteric meaning, which means the inner meaning, you know, and not the external or exoteric meaning, you know, like what's going on within. But yeah, it was, you know, again, oh, yeah, but karma is just a cause and effect, you know what I'm saying? Like for a certain cause in a past life, or, you know, for the most part, like in past life situations, you know, or in this, you know, because things are coming back around fast, you know, or in this lifetime or in this situation. Give me 1 second. Y'all give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah. Matter of fact, and that's what I've been doing, sitting down, journaling a lot of these things, you know. And also, like, I wrote out like a list, like, what are my deepest fears throughout my whole lifetime and in this very moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, and also learning how to go into the Kosh more, because again, I started slipping away from that, because when I first got on my growth, like, I was there with it, like, my every moment was like just sitting down as much as I could, you know, other than being at work, you know, and sitting down and like just going within and just, you know, like, because basically tapping into the astral planes is our visualizations. But that's another thing too. Like, don't feel like you're not tapping in just because it may not be vivid as somebody else explained. Because a lot of these things be explained to make it seem so hard when it's really as simple as what you visualizing. Like, because you visualizing somebody else is you connecting with somebody else in the astral plane. Because the astral plane technically is what we visualize with our eyes closed, you know, or with your eyes open if you're capable of visualizing with your eyes open. But you know, it's tapping into your visualizations, and then it gets deeper, you know, from there. You know what I'm saying? Like with anything, but you know, just initially, you know, working in that area is not as hard as it's made out to be. You know, but, you know, again, asking myself, what are my deepest fears? What are my weaknesses and strengths? You know, what do I excel in and what do I fail at? You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, my parents. Like, what do my parents have excelled in and what did my parents fail at? Because that's also, like, you know, pointing to, again, like, we trying, it's knowing thyself to the fullest. Like, you know, why did I come to earth in this lifetime? Like, you know, what am I fucking doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what caused me to feel like I need to be in this earthly plane in this lifetime? And where am I going after this? You know what I'm saying? Do I feel like coming back into this earthly plane? Because again, even though we may call it a prison plan and stuff like that, you know, some of us may, you know, need that, you know, like, again, deserve that time, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? Like, in, uh, may want to come back or have to come back in so many ways, forms, or fashion. And then some of us may be, you know, tapping into a higher realm or higher, you know, aspect of our reality. And again, we make our reality, because that's another thing. I don't know if I was gonna get to those notes, but like what dreams may come, you know, that movie with what's his name? That's like, I don't know what dreams may come with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robin Williams. You know. And again, though, back to that aspect of like, learn ourselves to the fullest. What gods and deities do I resonate with the strongest? That's another question to, tap in and ask yourself, to really see what's going on. What are the professions, or quote unquote jobs or lack thereof, of my family on my mama's side and my daddy's side of the family? And then I picked up on a vibe where your father's side of the family represents masculine action. Your father, masculine action, and it represents what you came to do in this lifetime. So whatever professions that your father's side of the family dealt with, or deals with, that may, in most cases be speaking to, what you came to, what actions you came to take. Again, actions, masculine energy, what actions you came to take in this lifetime. And the mother represents the cause, like again, like karma, cause and effect. You know, like the mother represents the cause of why you chose to come down and take those actions in your now human experience. Because my mama's side, again, got some Haitian blood, but then the family basically was kind of like Baptist and don't do nothing with voodoo. So again, the cause of me being a teacher, because again, my dad's side was nothing but teachers, and they own a funeral home. So, knowing the realms of death and rebirth, what I'm saying, the death process firsthand, dealing with a family having a funeral home and nothing but teachers. So, teaching and connecting with the death aspect is part of what I'm dealing with in this lifetime. And, because, and the cause, because of this connection, within my, my mom representing that disconnected aspect of her, again, her family. Because again, this is all about energy signatures. We're on a human experience, but we ain't nothing but like, again, the no thing on a human experience, but basically like wavelengths expressing itself through a bodysuit, you know, and that's all, our families are, or anybody or being. And hence why I talk about like the aspect of matrix talk. I had a video not so long ago about that, where certain things within this reality talk to us in a certain way. Then some more questions though. Why did I choose to incarnate in this lifetime, and why am I here? And sitting with yourself and sitting with those questions. Working with black obsidian, putting the black obsidian or snowflake obsidian, but just regular black obsidian on the first eye, and asking yourself these questions, may help to pull something, draw some answers out. Go into a meditation while you're doing that. Another one, where do I plan to go after this incarnation? After quote unquote death, where do I plan to go? What do I plan on doing after this incarnation, basically? And another good question again, what are the triggers or causes of my deepest emotions and feelings? Like the triggers of happiest moments and the triggers of my saddest moments, like, and just really seeing, again, like what's going on. Like, truly diving in on, on knowing yourself to the fullest. Like that's the deeper aspect. But yeah, speaking on too, say I was gonna speak on the comic book aspects. Matter of fact, what's up, y'all? Mahogany shop pillows and more. Alright, some synchronicity. What does it mean? And well, I'm gonna go back and tap into some of these questions too, and see what's going on in the chat. I had to get my little brew. Again, embracing, accepting what is. Cause another thing too, everything is all on how what's your intentions, with doing things. And I realized too, like a part of me drinking is right now, like is somewhat tapping into that hibernation state, My last video I did, I just finished the beer, you know what I'm saying? So, and it was like somewhat of a channel, you know, and making sure your intention and focus is declared before tapping into certain things. You know, you do have to have, again, a responsibility with everything, you know what I'm saying? Water, water, we everybody like, oh, water is so life bringing, you know, oxygen is so life bringing, but if you put too much oxygen by a fire, some shit explode, you know what I'm saying? And if you put too much water into your body, you fucking drown, you know what I'm saying? So even two of the most quote unquote life bringing things in this realm of reality could fucking cause harm, you know what I'm saying, when imbalanced. So, you know, the storyline always goes back to, you know, it's a balance, you know, with things. A balance. It's all about balance. And I've been again finding myself like making sure I'm doing, and again like a balance with that, like being accountable, making sure I ain't just trying to do videos just to do videos, but then at the same time, I saw myself feeling like kind of, you know, had to acknowledge like some level of like depression or just not feeling, you know, feeling good in the sense of like by not doing videos, you know. But I had to allow for it to come to me, you know, like I had to, you know, feel the energy and let it come up in order to move on it. You know? But yeah, checking out this new season of Magicians. As a matter of fact, in two, Magicians gave a fire ass, you know, cosign to comic books. And oh, spoiler alert! If you watch the new season of Magicians and you haven't been getting all the way through it, you know, just yet, you know, you might want to not watch this video just yet. Because also too, I'm gonna speak on a little bit on the show The Island, and then also this comic book called Divine, the Wicked and the Divine, or Divine and the Wicked. Because I also had a connection with the it's a Norse mythology guy called Urder or Urder, Urdr. And basically in the comic book The Wicked and the Divine, this this guy, because basically it's like so what it is, the gods every 90 years the gods return to Earth in the form of like some type of like teenage person, and basically again like the demiurge aspect, you know, looking for adornment from humans, you know, like you look at Clash of the Titans, I think that's the name of the, but any movie dealing with like gods and like the Titans resurrecting, because the Titans really in essence represent the primordial essence of source, and that represents some of us who are awakening right now. And then the gods like Zeus and stuff are more so like the archon energy, you know, that sucks off of like, you know, other people's prayers and other people's praises and stuff like that, you know. I say, ooh, my goodness, this is good. But yeah, coming across that comic book, The Wicked and the Divine. But yeah, in Magicians, you know, the last season, you know, they all had a spell put on them. Like the main characters had a spell put on them so they could like forget who they was, and actually was like put into different bodies and living a different life and not knowing who they were, you know, in the past, until some start popping off where they were needed to be awakened. And you know, they had like a little spell on them that every time they would like come across clues that would awaken them, shit would like cause havoc or whatever, because they, you know, somebody didn't want them awakening. And it's just like it was, playing out just like like things are playing out now. Like where, they paths started crossing, and then one of them came across a comic book, and the comic book was about all of them. You know, and I tell y'all, you know, in many of my videos where I talk about comic books, I'm like, man, comic books is like a download in your hand. Like, of course, again, because the external realm is a representation of the internal realm, because hence I had to get to that aspect too of realizing, to not get so, oh man, artificial intelligence, this and that, everything is a representation of the divine, so even, technology, social media, smartphones, all that shit is a representation of divine. Even looking at the aspect of angel numbers coming to you in the form of like some numbers through a fucking phone, like the time on your phone, or some type of electronics that's giving you a certain number. You know what I'm saying? Let you know that the divine is all, even the artificial intelligence, because if this all a simulation in the first place, what's the difference? Because some people like, oh yeah, I gonna kill us. I mean, shit, what's the difference if your first cousin stab you or a robot stab you? Fuck you, you still a stab person that's gonna transition, regardless, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just having that deeper understanding. Yeah, some things were created in this realm, by this realm, and then some of us, have a soul spark that comes from something outside of this realm, that has something to do with creating this realm, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, we get to these understandings, but again, it's all interconnected, and it's all divine, again, no good or bad, no right or wrong, no judgment, you know. But that whole aspect, realizing again, everything is spirit, everything is, everything is interconnected, you know, all that, oh, they doing this, they doing that, like they, is us, technically, you know, like, just like I talk about the pressure to make the diamond. Yeah, the diamond is the diamond technically, but the diamond is also the pressure from the earth that makes it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all that. Matter of fact, moving these blockages. Cause that's another thing right now. Again, that's key is removing the blockages out of the chakras. Going through each chakra. Matter of fact, I did that video is on my Patreon. The visualization that I did for my sacral chakra, but which it could be used for all chakras, but that could definitely come in handy. While doing the inner work. But yeah, with the magicians again, a show on Netflix. Mimicking the reincarnation process, and the magician's soul were put into, new bodies with new lives, and they all, start to get dreams and synchronicities, helping them to remember who they were in the past, in matter of fact, in the previous seasons, basically, of the show. And again, the comic book was helping them to find out who they were and helping them to reconnect. So again, like I tell everybody, like comic books are basically like, downloads in your hand, you know what I'm saying? And literally, and seeing that little confirmation, because we're going to see more and more of this bubbling up, like all this truth coming up to the top, you know what I'm saying? And again, like realizing, because I always laugh at this and be like, man, I'm grateful for, being a part of creating this reality, because for the most part, these shows, magicians, this and that, as much as yeah, there's writers who put it together, this and that, but, you know, uh, we created this reality to embody these things, and it's getting more quote unquote synchronistic. because the truth is coming up to the top. And again, I talk about the Fool card. Again, the Fool card deals with the Uranus energy, and the Uranus energy is the, first they connect Saturn to Aquarius, but then also Uranus, and Uranus energy deals with, eccentric and unconventional aspects and being your unique expression, you know what I'm saying, in connection with that Aquarius energy, you know. But and also Aquarius is the information age, the truth coming up, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening, is the truth coming all the way up. We having no choice but, you either line up with your soul purpose, or I fall to the wayside. But for the most part, just working on yourself in general, because that's another thing that may be, taken to the extreme. It's like, oh, 2020, like whatever you're doing in this moment, you're never gonna make it to the next moment. Like you gotta be to this certain point, or your life's just gonna be on repeat. Now, I can't say like, yeah, whatever you're doing in this moment is gonna ring out into the years to come. But if you're working on yourself and constantly like doing, just finding ways to know thyself to the fullest, and constantly finding ways to really transform, like tapping into your subconscious and really doing the work. Like, as long as you constantly working on yourself, then that's gonna ring into the future, is you constantly doing the work. But yeah, like if you chose to just give up in these moments right now leading into the spring, then yeah, you just basically just have a fuck it attitude for the next couple years. And I say couple to make it short, but it's gonna be the thing. Yeah, and again, going back to the subconscious aspect, where Elliot on the Magicians had to go through his memories, going through his subconscious, and just like I'm saying, like he went to all his little sexual experiences, like all when he got beat up as a little kid, and what really caused him to be gay or whatever. Like he went through all his little, backtracking all these different things to really see, what was the cause of what he was dealing with in that moment. So everything goes back to, tapping into the subconscious and really going deep, because sometimes too, we might feel like, all right, let me read this book. This book deals with crystals, or this book deals with, some type of information that may fall under spirituality. But if it's not really truly information that's helping you to master yourself, or master some things that you need to master, and this book don't necessarily deal with it, then that's still a form of like, running away from what you should be dealing with. Now, of course, at some moments, yeah, it'd be a vibe for us to read, sit there and read a book. Ain't nothing wrong with reading a book, you know what I'm saying? Like, that gives us insight about certain informations that we resonate with, but just making sure that, again, like we're doing that, that inner work to the fullest, and not really allowing for ourselves to be distracted, Because I know for myself, like again, drinking my beer last night, I was working with my tarot cards, writing in my journal, and I did that video last night, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't like drinking it like, oh, life is fucked up, oh, man, And again, I also had to be aware though, like, like, hey, you don't have to drink to enjoy yourself or things of this nature. But I just, again, we're going through these darker days, like, and again, accepting what is, accepting that we do go through cycles. We are going through, a form of darkness, and then the rebirth on the 25th, where the sun is born, you know what I'm saying? The sun goes back into like starting to shine again, like getting, back into where it gets to the summer solstice, where we got the the heightened days of shining, you know what I'm saying? And the Cancer energy, you know, right now we stepping into the Capricorn, you know, the cold energy, Saturn energy, and then we'll come back around to, you know, the Cancer energy, the summer energy, you know, where the sun is, you know, out more, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, definitely, again, like that aspect of tapping into the subconscious, like I talked about on Lucifer. You know, Lucifer going to a psychiatrist to, you know, find out about what's going on, you know, in this inner universe. In another comic book, I spoke on a comic book called The Wicked and the Divine, you know, but also that's a great one. And then also a comic book called Wayward. And the Wayward aspect, I was reading that and it connected with Uter, the Norse mythology, if I'm saying it right, Urdr, but this Norse mythology god, which is a part of a triune god situation, where basically it's what it is, Uter and two other guys, but Uter, they spin the web of destiny, and one of them spin the web of destiny dealing with the past, one of them spin the web of destiny with the present, and one spin the web of destiny with the future, you know, and Uter is one of them. And then in the whole other comic book, Wayward, you know, one of the main characters was connected to being a weaver and spinning the web of destiny, and it wasn't no coincidence that I had that little situation where I saw the spider, and that's why I did that video recently about the spiders, and the spiders connected to weaving your web. You know, you're weaving your web of destiny and tapping into that energy, you know. So that's something as well, you know. But it all goes into, you know, again, realizing that everything, that high self is always speaking through everything in our reality, you know, is a projection of what's going on inside of us. And that's what also causes us to kind of repeat lesson loops, is whenever we in denial, and even we may not be consciously in denial, but we may be subconsciously in denial of like, oh, that ain't me, you know. Because yeah, some energies may represent your past energy, you know, or your future energy. But for whatever the case may be, everything that you see out of your eyes, wherever you're at, whoever you're dealing with, is a, you know, it's a projection of what's going on inside of you. You know, like your inner universe projects outwardly and it plays out for you outwardly, you know, which creates your experience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's again, like if you want to judge a certain situation or judge a certain person, place, or thing, then you'll constantly have to go through a lesson loop of dealing with that person, place, or thing, because you're judging it and feeling like, or possibly feeling like it ain't you, or you know, or you ain't connected to that, like, oh, everything is one, but I ain't connected to that person, place, or thing. It's like, yes, you know, if you've seen it, then you know that's what it is, you know. Like ain't no other way around that. But yeah, just a lot of connections. And again, one of the gods in the pantheon from the comic book The Wicked and Divine was Persephone. She was like the wild card, like, you know, they had this being named Anande who would help the gods remember who they were and activate them, but then she also was like secretly, she had to like kill like 4 of them every time to, so say, keep something in balance, you know what I'm saying? But Persephone was the one that would always, when she awakened, would throw that situation off, or possibly throw it off. So that's why she always would try to make sure she killed Persephone. And again, Persephone, you know, and then anything, you know, anything that's made to seem evil in comic books, TV shows, whatever, like that darkness is us. You know, that darkness is those of us who are, connected to that primordial essence of source. And again, that ain't to say, I'm better than other aspects or this is worse. Like, nah, this is all, because even if you are like a primordial essence and you are a creator of this realm is still like one of your seeds technically. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you're not better than, you know, uh, something that you created. It's your creation. But the whole thing, and then to show the island. As a matter of fact, the island, a lot of things too always point to prisoners. Because you got the island that's on Netflix, and I think that's a limited series because they always, again, like, and I spoke on that, like, try to test to see how woke you are, quote unquote woke. Just like the War of the Worlds by Orson Welles back in the day, where they put on the radio this on the radio they had this fake alien attack, you know, but they played it as if, it had the sound of as if it was a real alien attack to see, like, how people were reacting. Once they saw people was reacting to it, that's when they started more and more with the alien propaganda. Then you had like Star Wars, E.T., and all these different, which E.T., and it was another, like, I want to say like in the early 80s, either late 70s or early 80s, where they were trying to make the alien image something good, because at first they wanted to kind of scare you with it and see where you was at, and then they turned it into something nice. Because again, and we say they, again, this is part of us in essence. Again, the pressure to make a diamond. We wouldn't have no experience. Just like playing a game. You know what I'm saying? If you shooting hoops by yourself, it's just you shooting. You know, it's only so far you could get with just shooting hoops by yourself. You know, like, and think about it. Think about anybody you ever watched play a sport. You know, where compared to like say for instance, a person who like just only played by themselves and never really played recreational sports with others, and then those who play recreational sports, were the persons who kind of play recreational sports like may have like that advantage of like having unique or different like skill sets, that may be a little more advanced than that person that sat there and played. Now, a person who's sitting there playing by themselves all the time, yeah, they could have the potential to be better than those who play the recreational sports already. But it's through, it's from playing against somebody, you learn all these different aspects, you know. But that's what I was gonna say. The island, where these prisoners were put into this simulation. Basically, they had no memory of their past life and what they did to get in jail, or that they were even in jail. You know what I'm saying? They was in this simulation on this island, this beautiful island. You know what I'm saying? And it was like for rehabilitation aspects or for releasing karmic energies, and them seeing if they will repeat the same traumatic tendencies or break out of them. You know what I'm saying? And you see it like all these different correlations. But you got the old movie called 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis, where Bruce Willis was a prisoner, and they needed him to he volunteered in order to get out of jail. He volunteered to go back in time or go into the future and change some shit. A prisoner going into some type of little time traveling program in order to good behavior or whatever. The show The 100, on Netflix. Another one where Earth had been nuclear bombs had messed up Earth, and people that went into space. Because again, there's also gonna always be like some little misinformation in these things to try to throw off things, but there's truth within it, you know what I'm saying? Hence why we gotta know the wholeness of our stories, tapping into ancient mythology, you know, and really seeing that, when it goes back to it, it wasn't about no aliens from outer space. It's more so like, inner space aspect, and the universe existing within us, you know. Uh, but the 100, were 100 prisoners. They were like the young delinquent prisoners, what I'm saying, who got sent to Earth in order to, test to see if after the nuclear bombs went off, if Earth was habitable again. But, they sent those 100 prisoners down, but everything correlating to prisoners. And then another show that kind of connects, anime cartoon that kind of connects with that simulation aspect is Sword Art Online. Sword Art Online, Sword SWORD. Cause I know my my accent probably slaughtering, but Sword Art Online, Sword like a sword, Art ART Online. You know, but that whole aspect, you know, but again with the island, like we're going through right now, experiencing, and that's what happened too on the island. Like as time progressed on the island, you know, so say for instance, like a lot of us have been, allowing for this strong karmic energies to come up to the point where we can't run from them and couldn't hide, and then on the show The Island, the inmates start to see the memories. Like at first is, I don't know why I'm here and this and that, but then as time progressed, quote unquote time progressed, they start getting flashbacks and memories of the crimes they committed. You know what I'm saying? Back on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the simulation, and you even got to see too, like where the warden of the simulation, like the warden of the jail, sent some people into the simulation to like fuck things up, and showing how, like again, like within this, things, people come in the rat eye cage and shake things up, that pressure to make a diamond, you know, in a situation where again these prisoners signed up for this program, but while they was in it, didn't have no memory of it. But again, they little memories start coming up, just like our karmic energies start coming up, like, and that's also somewhat reminiscent of Cloud Atlas, the movie Cloud Atlas with Tom Hanks and Halle Berry, was about reincarnation. That's a good little movie too. That kind of brings up these truths. You know, but I got the island. And again, I was talking about what dreams may come. Tapping into tapping into a dimension that matches up with our wavelengths. And again, like Robin Williams' character was asking, like, why am I still here? Because he was still on Earth after his funeral. You know, and he was still on Earth after his funeral because he was still like strongly connected to his earthly life. You know what I'm saying, and was holding on to it and wasn't letting go. As a matter of fact, so much so to where he was talking to his wife. Like as this because again, we got our spirit and our soul. When it gets deeper, you got your soul that constantly moves, but then your spirit is like the representation of what your soul did in your bodysuit. You know what I'm saying? So like after my soul transition and go to the next level of, matter of fact, say for my soul could either come back to Earth or go to a higher plane. But either way it go, my soul on to the next, situation. But you could still tap into the spirit of what my soul represented in this carnation, where you could like tap into the spirit of Carl Ray, or tap into the spirit of Universal, however, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But, the soul is constantly, going to the, in motion, basically, going to the next step. And, again, Robin Williams was talking to his wife after she transitioned. He was holding on so strong that she could actually hear him, and started channel writing what he was whispering to her in her ear. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I still exist, I still exist, I still exist. And she started actually, writing, I still exist, because his energy was holding on that strong. And then he also got to see that there are no rules, and once he transitioned to that new plane, you know, where everything basically go off of what, again, your subconscious beliefs, like whatever your subconscious mind, dealt with within this reality. That's why he couldn't fly at first, you know, because his subconscious, couldn't grasp that in this lifetime, so it wasn't grasping in, when you transition. That's why so much of it is about like breaking out of like the limitation aspect, you know, because you're gonna bring that limitation on to the next level, But yeah, what dreams may come, another one. But again, right now too, creating new things require letting go of the old. We cannot create something new if we're still holding on to old things. And again, we may be going through old energies, you know what I'm saying, to also make sure we're not judging them. The other day, not what, a couple of days ago, I was drinking some coffee, and I had the urge to smoke a cigarette, you know what I'm saying? So I got a cigarette from somebody one day, and I got a cigarette from somebody the other day, and I'm drinking coffee and smoking a cig, and and just sitting there with myself, and like, realizing like, all right, to accept what is, because again, also getting to a place of not looking at this as good or bad, right or wrong, because again, that's that religious aspect that makes us, like taking that from religion and then applying it to what we're doing, like, oh, you're gonna go to hell if you don't eat all organic foods, or you're gonna go to hell if you smoke a cigarette, or you're gonna go to hell if you drink a brew. And don't get it twisted, like, yeah, alcohol deals with, quote unquote spirits, you know, uh, but again, it's accountability and a certain level of, or I say a certain level, but dealing with intentions, and how and being aware, and just having awareness with everything you're dealing with, and having a level of not judging yourself, and and as you go through whatever, forgiving yourself for whatever it is, not holding no grudge against yourself. Because again, dealing with me and the queen separating, it was because of some energy I was going through and displayed, I would like, and again, and say for instance, alcohol played the catalyst in that situation, where I could have looked at alcohol as bad. Oh man, alcohol caused us to flip out like that. But what it really, all alcohol, again, because that's blaming external conditions right there. It wasn't the alcohol, it was us, and it was what needed to play out. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol just brought it up to the forefront, and then and took the filter away, because that's why a lot of people, in essence, drink, alcohol too, is to like, like to speak the truth, or like they say what's really on their fucking mind whenever they on it. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing too. You know, it's like those energies came up. You know what I'm saying? And I had to face that fact of like, all right, I'm still dealing with this energy of just like, not fully committing to a relationship, in the way I should commit to it. Because all that just saying I love you and giving each other's hugs and kisses, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it's deeper than that, We gotta be with each other on an energetic level, you know what I'm saying, as well. You know, and I went, again, like after we got into our little disagreement, I walked away from the situation without being there to talk it out. Cause that's the thing. Like I should have been there to talk out that situation and be there for her. And then again, like how things come back around. You know, when she did, again, like realize like, all right, this shit. We gotta take some time away, and she moved around. Like I got to see how that felt, because like I was going through my energies of like, wishing and feeling she was still here, and again, like also having to go through those energies because I was just dealing with emotional numbness, so I had to express quote unquote negative emotions or emotions from that, that lower vibratory state, and realize that those emotions are valid, like being angry, being sad, being in a sorrow like state, just feeling anything from that lower spectrum of the emotional and feeling grid, like the emotional ladder that I showed, that was a part of the experience, and I needed to go through that, in order to also again like view things really from her eyes and see like, all right, when when I could use somebody to talk to, she was gone, and we wasn't talking on the phone or anything, so I had nobody to talk to, just like she had nobody to talk to whenever I would be walking away after situations like that. So I had to, deal with that energy, you know, uh, firsthand. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so that's another thing too. But acceptance, forgiveness, no judgment, and compassion. You know, and again, seeing like it was my mom looking at, had to go like, all right, why did I do that? Why do I walk away in those situations? Why am I like that in a relationship? And I like had to go back. I'm like, all right, what did I used to, it is either what your mom and dad taught you verbally, or what you just observed. They may have not told you, hey, be like this, but that's what you observed. So you quietly soak that into your subconscious without realizing that you still like playing out this energy, even though your conscious mind telling you, oh, I ain't picked up on this energy, or I'm straight, I ain't doing that. But then really you are, expressing things in that manner, but just not realizing it. But again, everything coming up. Everything coming up. Again, just check out my last video I did about, again, like the food card. Like we're getting to a place again, the food card, stepping into our uniqueness. Food card dealing with the Uranus energy dealing with the Aquarius energy, and Aquarius energy is the information age, and how we tapping into our inner information is by being a fool and not holding on to any information, like in a paradoxical way, not holding on to information allows for you to continuously grow and learn. Because if I hold on to one little form of insight and feel like, all right, that's all I need to know about life, then nothing else is gonna come in for me to, to constantly grow and learn, because I'm holding on to this one concept or this one form of information, you know, and that, that kind of blocks the continuous growth. Again, Forrest Gump, which I like those type, like kudos to the movies that have deeper occult meanings, But like, cause another thing too, like, well, we think like, all right, say for instance, you would think a movie would be more occult or esoteric because it has a theme that outwardly seems that way. Like say for instance, like Interstellar, or a movie about artificial intelligence, or a movie that's about past lives. You know, like we think like, oh shit, this is gonna be deep, but like shit, movies that may not, like movie like Forrest Gump. Like Forrest Gump didn't come off as something that's like, you know, oh, this is about to be deep or have some deep occult esoteric meaning. But it be those type of movies that have that, you know, type of meaning. Truman Show is like a borderline one. Like Truman Show, you could kind of peep like, all right, this is gonna have some occult themes, but not till you start really watching it, you know. But that's another one where, you know, it's like it's not put off as something like, you know, like say for instance like a show The Magicians, you know what I'm saying? Like where you like, oh yeah, this is occult esoteric because they about to be doing magic and stuff like that. And which taps into those aspects, but you know, it be the movies and stuff that don't even really project things on that level. As a matter of fact, shout out to Brother Panic, shout out to Bobby Hemmett, you know, to you know, to you say teachers that I definitely resonate with and definitely align with. Cause again, I realized, like I spoke on my last video, where I was aligning with stuff before even watching, like, you know, like I'll watch their videos or get some information from something they spoke on later when I was already doing the stuff. And that's another thing too, I realized how much it is about just kind of really trusting and being confident and tapping into your own energies. Because hence why I tell anybody, you know, like it's cool to watch my videos and stuff like that, but I'm not your preacher, I'm not your guru, and you don't want to get caught up in, you know, always asking yourself, well, what will Universal do? You know, like, well, shit, nah, because, you know, you got your own inner guidance, you know. Now, it's cool, because, again, like, some of us not watching, you know, Netflix or TV no more, so YouTube has become our TV. So, yeah, you know, like, of course, I would rather watch, you know, certain people on YouTube who talk about esoteric and occult information than watch an actual TV show. But just making sure as we're watching, you know, these videos, we're not getting caught up in, you know, like using the whole videos and everything somebody else saying is something to be guided by, and we're just constantly pushing aside our intuition, our own inner guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, we definitely want to be, yeah, Mr. Nobody was another one that was pretty solid too. I think I talked about that. Matter of fact, y'all, I got a comic book playlist and I got a movies playlist too. I talk about different videos. And this beer is pretty good. It's a product of England. I got it from Whole Foods. It's an organic, handcrafted fruit ale with real strawberry juice. It's organic. But hey, you know, like it's cool, you know, to each his own on your diet, you know, and how you rock with stuff like that. Yeah, again, just getting into that energy of the food card. Matter of fact, another thing too, you know, really tapping into energies and really seeing what's up for ourselves, you know, like putting the intentions before going to sleep. Like, all right, in my lucid dream, I want to meet up with, you know, because again, when we talk about these gods or deities, they are inside of us, you know, and we interface with them in that sense of it. But like matter of fact, cause I remember Panic talking about too, like he went to go, he heard about Nelson Mandela, and he was like, you know, this fool, this nigga go to jail, come out of jail, he a hero, he ain't a hero, like, you know, that sound like some old agency type of shit. Like, let me see what's really going on. But instead of going off of just like, you know, again, like the external aspect, he went into the astral planes and he said he fell asleep watching the remake of Nelson Mandela's autobiography or whatever. And when he went to his dreams in the astral planes, connected with, you know, uh, he connected with Nelson Mandela. And matter of fact, and he spoke on how like when he met him, he was on his knee, like Panic was on his knee, uh, and Nelson Mandela was holding his hand, standing up. And matter of fact, and he was like, and I know some of you would be like, oh, Panic was holding Nelson Mandela's hand like a little bitch and this and that. But he was speaking on the aspect of like, but when you go into another guy, again, like being humble and being pure of heart and not bringing that, because again, that's another thing too, like we're not killing our ego, you know, uh, but there are unhealthy aspects of the ego connected to our humanity that's not best, or should I say, yeah, it's not best for our soul purpose or our highest good, But he was speaking on like, yeah, when you go into another God's realm, another being's realm, you have that reverence and respect. And again, that's what I was speaking on in my last video, the video before doing this live, the last video I just dropped, you know, and because he was like, yeah, if he came into my realm, he would be on his knees holding my hand, you know what I'm saying? Like, because he coming into my space, my space. But that's another thing too. Speaking of spaces, like also not judging situations. Uh, I did that video of how to shake back from being in a quote unquote sunken place, and again, I put quote unquote sunken place because again, you're going through experience for a reason, and we shouldn't judge wherever we at, because even when we use the word backwards, like I feel like using that terminology to explain your situation in some form or fashion may subtly still have some subconscious programming of judgment, like, oh, I went backwards or this and that. Now you just went into a familiar space. You went to a past space. A space from your past or a familiar space, but not necessarily going backwards. Because sometimes we use the word backwards with a negative connotation. Or yeah, like I done, fucked up, and went backwards. Like nah, you just went into a familiar space, and by going into it, you get to really realize, like, all right, yeah, I don't really want to be back in this familiar space. I want to continuously grow. I want my now to reflect something, different. Going into a quote unquote new space, and new, old, but just making sure we're not placing no judgment on the situation. And that was those three guys' names I was talking about. Erder, Verdandi, and Scold were the three the energies, the three gods that kind of represent one god that is connected to weaving destiny, weaving the web of destiny, you know. And then also the energy of Kuan Yin had been speaking out to me recently too. Matter of fact, y'all, don't forget to hit the like button if you're vibing with the video, and all that good stuff. And then all donations greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. And you don't just have to donate. I also have jewelry that, got crystal bracelets. Soon gonna have the earrings. Have the earrings again, but you don't just have to donate. You can invest in something that helps your which again is free game on this YouTube channel is an investment. You know what I'm saying? But I humbly say that I'm always a constant student myself. Yeah, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta go use the restroom. And I'm gonna kind of tap into the chat and see what's popping up. That candle says somebody said something about dozing off for 5 minutes. Yeah, that candle. Remember, staring at a candle or staring at a flame puts your mind in the alpha state, and the alpha state is one of the prime brainwave states for programming your subconscious. So like you could be saying your affirmations and looking at the flame of the candle, you know. Again, because you know wordplay all kind of coincides, even if it's not meant quote unquote to coincide. But like we build an altar, you know, altar. Excuse me. Technically, it's to alter our mind state. You know, by working with an altar, it taps into the subconscious. You know. Matter of fact, I've been working with, as far as crystals, working with Labradorite lately. Been great for healing the auric field. Been working with my with lodestone as well. That's been the vibe. Lodestone, my moldavite, and again, also remembering to be grounded and focused. You know, like we could either have a flashlight or we could have like a laser beam. And I've been having to be aware again to like just get in that state of like being focused and you know quote unquote taking my time with things and not rushing and not trying to be everywhere because it's not no race. Who am I comparing myself to? There's no shortcuts, so why am I trying to rush or trying to speed? Like, of course, we're not procrastinating. Again, a balance. I'm not procrastinating, but I'm definitely not trying to like you know like just gotta constantly make sure I'm working on my inner universe to the best of my abilities. That's it. Making sure we cutting cards, cutting cards and pulling roots. And I think I did my root pulling exercise, visualization exercise. I think that's on my Patreon page, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, my Patreon page, that link. I don't have it. If it's not underneath this video just yet, it's underneath my last videos. So you can check that out. Juggernaut Power, yeah, appreciate the donation. Yeah, my Cash App, my PayPal, and my Venmo is all in the detailed area or the description area of my videos. So any of my videos, you could see that any and all donations greatly appreciated. Matter of fact, speaking of that's another thing too, dealing with the subconscious, like church being made to be boring on purpose. So as a little kid, you could kind of be like falling asleep, and that makes your subconscious more programmable when you're falling asleep. So all that church shit, and again, no knock to people going to church and stuff like that. Cause another thing too, no judgment against any of that or none of that. It's all a part of this experience, and everybody has their own path and their own journey. You know what I'm saying? That yeah, we're gonna speak truth about what truth is. Like we're not gonna lie, but at the same time, what may be true for somebody may not be true for the next. In the sense of like, if somebody feel like, the Christ is like a white hippie, you know, that was present in the Middle East or whatever you want to call the area now, then that's their belief. You know what I'm saying? Like that's their truth, you know. Like, of course, yeah, we got true information. Like, yeah, it's the truth that they had the Nicaea Council uh, to turn the Christ energy into a historical figure. You know, yeah, it's again true that they had 16 crucified saviors or 16 stories that predated the Jesus story, you know, exactly. You know, like the same storyline, virgin birth, all that, resurrection, all that. Which again, that's what we're going through right now. Again, letting you know that this is a energy of what we, you know, dealing with on an energetic level. You know what I'm saying? Again, we're going through these 3 dark days, the darkest days through this winter solstice. You know, we in the hibernation. You know, again, like going within. You know, getting our vision boards right within ourselves and externally. You know, writing up a vision board and going in, visualizing things. You know, making sure we healing all traumas within, all past lives. We sitting there and consulting with our inner universe. You know, and healing all these heavy traumas and all this. You know, these blockages in our chakras. You know, to become more light. And remembering now is the vibrate. And again, as I say, that's another thing too. Not being hard on myself, but I've been in moments where, you know, I wasn't being in the moment. You know, like I always would kind of bullshit myself, like, hey, Mr. Now is the vibrate. You know, right now you're not being now, you being in some past. You know, and two, that was the balance that you know, me and again Tatiana, I still say the queen, because you know we still keeping that connection, but you know we done kind of separated in a physical level to, you know, again do our thing. But you know, like her energy was like about being fast paced, and mine like going tapping into the future a little more. Mine was like still kind of connecting with certain past aspects and moving a little slower. But in essence, we balanced each other off like that, you know what I'm saying? But just on working out energetic karma again, like paying our own bill, you know, like we can't work out each other. Like we gotta, only us could save us, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody else could help us but ourselves, you know. So as we working out our karma, some of it may be still a little thick to the point where we kind of need to work on it ourselves, you know. Again, that may vary for different different strokes for different folks, for the most part. But again, as I'm telling, you know, my story and what I'm going through, somebody may be resonating with that aspect. Again, that's why I always say take what resonate, leave what don't. And if the video don't resonate with you at all, then why in the fuck is you still watching? You know, like you don't have to, nobody putting a gun to your head saying watch universal frequencies. You know, go check out another channel, literally and figuratively. Go channel another energy. Go to a different YouTube channel if this one does not resonate with you. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Again, like don't trip out on yourself if it do feel like you've been like, you know, may have been eating unhealthy. Because again, karmic energy is coming out and coming up again in a lot of cases for us to not judge. You know, because we've been judgmental. Like we've probably been judgmental towards our family. So we've been in situations where we've been kind of in essence forced to be around family. You know, because maybe we've been judgmental again, even though we might say, "Oh, I don't judge my family because they eat meat," or "I don't judge my family because they ain't into crystals like how I'm into crystals." But subtly, you may have been judging them. You know what I'm saying? And you know the universe, high self, gonna put you in that situation until or whatever situation it may be, till you stop judging. You know, Because again, it also starts with judging yourself. Because you're basically saying, if I was that, then I would judge me. I would judge myself if I was doing that. You know, if I was smoking a cigarette, I would judge myself. So I'm gonna judge someone smoking a cigarette. If I ate a lot of food, I would judge myself. So I'm gonna judge someone who eats a lot of food. You know, and again, it is a subconscious shit could be so subtle. You know, and that's why, you know, again, like working with Black Obsidian is great. Yeah, it could be overwhelming at bringing shit up, but I mean, it, you know, sometimes that may be what we need if we have been running away from ourselves, or at least trying to run away from ourselves, because you know you're not going to run away from yourself. Like, that's not happening, not possible. You can try, but it ain't gonna happen. But I think that's it. I think that's all my little notes there. Oh, matter of fact, it's another thing, you know, YouTube getting strict on their little censorships and shit, you know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna complain and ain't getting to know, oh, you know, the man this and YouTube that, that, that. You know, it is what it is, you know. Just more reasons, again, the pressure to make a diamond. Just YouTube putting that pressure that's gonna turn us into a diamond where we're gonna create our own fucking YouTube or some type of little platform and you know, switch the game up. You know, that's all that is. You know, basically, but let's see. Yeah, hey, that's a good thing to bring up. Like, yeah, telling the truth is not being judgmental. You know, a fat person is a fat person. You know, a person who does this, you know, a person, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not being judgmental towards it. A racist person is a fucking racist person, but you know, not being judgmental. Matter of fact, a shout out to, you know, and showing how things coming up on that level, like SNL, like with Eddie Murphy coming back, like the little skit he did, where he did his old skit like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, like what it's like Mr. Rogers, but he, like, you know, the black version. And even with that, like, you know, again, as above, so below. This ain't about like, you know, race is just you know, terminology we use, and it's just like, matter of fact, uh, you know, like the Queen would say, it's a marker. You know what I'm saying? And you know that marker, you know, is just what it is, a marker. Like, it's just like it's this point, you know, this point or that point or whatever. But it's not necessarily like, oh, this race, that race. It's a representation of the primordial energies. You know what I'm saying? And that primordial energy is spreading, so therefore it's gonna spread through the quote unquote human representations of that energy. You know what I'm saying? So hence why, like, and again, seeing the chess game of everything. You know, like souls on the chess game, because at some point some people could say Eddie Murphy so loud, or you know, Chris Rock so loud, but then on some other shit, you know, they still kind of doing things that help to, you know, awaken souls to certain type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, it's bigger than that human shit. You know, like, you know, you could say Martin sold out. Oh, Martin sold out playing Big Mama's house. He wore the dress or this and that. But you know, on another type of level, you know, he a representation of some guy, and I say representation, but you know, he he a god on so many levels, you know, that There'll never be a show like Martin. But yeah, everything coming to the light. Everything. And that's another thing. Ask yourself too, why am I doing this? Like, I'm drinking this brew. Why am I doing this? You know, making sure I'm not masking no energies. And if I do feel a vibe of like, you know, like I'm masking some energies or doing some of that nature, like I have to keep it real with myself, you know, because I do get some of it is still a part of like that past energy of drinking. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie to myself and be like, oh yeah, me drinking is just all about just channeling. Like, nah, I'm drinking because it is some past shit that's coming up and being purged out. You know, it is that aspect of the old me. You know, trying to hold on to some old aspects, but then it is partially too me not being rigid and realizing like also I got to a place in my spiritual growth where I was being like extremely rigid, like a Christian person, you know, on some like, oh, can't do that. If I do that, that means I'm not spiritual, you know. Which I'm not spiritual. Everything is against spirit. If I spit on the ground right now in the camera, that's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you do as a spirit is spiritual. You know, the spirit, how your soul move and animate within this reality. You know, it's spirit basically. So it is what it is. And I had to get to that place again, like the food card, because one could say like if I look at this video from the perspective of comparing myself to other YouTubers, you know, YouTubers, anybody else who do videos or whatever, whatever, you know, you could say like, oh man, they don't do this or they don't do that but again, and making sure I'm not doing this just to be like, oh, I'm doing this to be different. Like, no, this is what I'm feeling right now. You know what I'm saying? Like being completely in my moment. Yeah. Yeah, I've got my motorbike on, but I definitely got my motorbike on with this load song. Matter of fact, yeah, that's what we was talking about too. The Juggernaut said something, yeah, about telling the truth and judgmental. Yeah, like telling the truth is telling the truth. Matter of fact, and I think, oh, I didn't post that video, so I'm gonna post that video probably later too. Uh, where I talked about working with Moldavite and Seraphonite, and like Moldavite speeds up your transformation, but not in the sense of having you like speeding up your transformation. It just brings you to like certain realizations in a way where you can't really hide or run from it, and it just kind of, you know, brings to your awareness like your highest good on a level where it just kind of allows for you to act upon it, you know, where you can't really procrastinate and run from it. It's not necessarily creating a speedy transformation, a sense of like, I mean, now keep it real. If you're ungrounded, you know, Moldavite could possibly have you like everywhere in that sense and unfocused in your energies, you know. Hence why again, like I don't ever like at one point I did, and again like just trusting my inner universe and trusting what was going on. Like I was rocking the Moldavite without a grounding stone recently for a little while, because I again dove so deep into the depths of myself, you know what I'm saying, to into the lower vibrations of my existence, to the point where, you know, it was best for me to work with the Moldavite, you know, in the high vibrational state. But then I had to grind. It's like almost like bringing myself up and like, all right, stop, like take that, you know. ground yourself. And then also I had to have a few days without wearing my crystals, like making sure I'm feeling myself by itself. Because again, it's just like with medicine. We don't have to take medicine every day. You know, and it varies. Because I also see crystals as like something that I like to work with. But we have to be careful with that because we could use like the conscious mind, words, and logic to like, oh, well, I just like my crystals and this and that. But low key, you may be using them in a way that's where you're overusing them, or you're not allowing for yourself to really feel your energy by yourself ever. And like at least once a month, at least, what I'm saying, like have a day where you don't wear your crystals at the least, what I'm saying, at just some point, where you go without wearing your crystal and you really feel your being for itself, what I'm saying, like feel yourself out, because things are medicinal. And again, you start to realize too, because I also got my lapis again, and check out my video on the Metatronic shield. I think if you type in Metatron shield, Metron, Metatron shield. Uh, but it should be in my crystal vibrations video. Crystal vibrations playlist too. But like how you gotta have like the lapis lazuli. So wearing lapis lazuli either on a gold, copper, or silver chain, having two copper bracelets, which I'm gonna cop that again, two copper bracelets, and then a single refracted ring. I kind of forgot this part. A single refracted ring on your left hand, I want to say, and there's only three single refracted crystals. It's spinal, garnet, and one other one. And no coincidence that garnet is my birthstone, the birthstone of Capricorn energy. But anyway, and garnet connected to the Persephone energy, because garnet gets its name from pomegranate, and then in the story of Persephone, she was named Hades, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of the underworld, gave Persephone uh, gave her a pomegranate to eat, when she went into the underworld, and again, no coincidence that, garnet is the stone for, Capricorn energy, and Capricorn energy associated with the devil or Saturn and Satan, and the tarot, and all that whole connection and going into that underworld, you know, it's all interconnected. But anyway, to the Metatron shield, you know, uh, again, lapis lazuli, two copper wristbands, and a single refracted crystal on your left hand in most forms of a ring. And again, it's either garnet, diamond, if I'm not mistaken, and spinal, but garnet and spinal for sure. Spinal, Spinel, and then a double refracted ring on your right side, which is basically all other crystals except for the three that are the single refracted, and those help to really fortify your energy field and create like more so of a stronger shield on your auric field. Matter of fact, again, working with labradorite helps heal and seal all any tears in your auric field. It helps with that as well. So be aware of that energy. Yeah. Well, yeah, guys. Matter of fact, if y'all ain't that's another thing too. Just got my new deck. Let me pull a card right quick. Let me pull a card. Now I'm new to this, so it's gonna be straight intuitive, cause they real different. Like, but that's what make them tight, cause it gives me even more of a, I say, expanded expression of the Rider-Waite deck. You know, like kind of like the original tarot deck, the one that's kind of like the main one in that sense. But like, by it being so different, matter of fact, these cards just dropped out, so we go with this. Because again, even though they correspond with, you know, that tarot deck, like the three of this and three of wands is what I just pulled. Let's see. Put a little light into it. This is the five of this, or the five, basically like five of pentacles. And this is like the three of wands. And what I get from this energy, seeing this, the three of wands, having that spirit in hand, got the all white, and I'm gonna read it from that connection of like, connected to Obatala energy, the father, the creator energy, and having that spirit in the form of creation, and having all that water around, on the island with a snail and a chicken. I see the snail as an aspect of like, approaching that growth with, somewhat of a slowness to, again, like a snail ain't really nowhere, what I'm saying? Like it's moving slow, it's taking its time with the way it's moving. And again, wands deal with the spirit, the fire energy, you know what I'm saying? And so, with our spirit, not trying to move too fast with it, right now. And the chicken, I'm not really picking up nothing on it. Because again, I'm trying to read it because I want to go back to like, the three of wands, it stands for this zodiac sign and this and that, but I'm just going off of the picture. And it's also surrounded by water. Water is the emotions, the intuition, but in this case, I feel like it's about the emotions. And he or she is like on an island, what I'm saying, with all these waters or emotions around, and I guess like just making sure you're aware of how you move or take action, again, because this fire is also like the active energy, an action, and being aware of how you move around with your actions in connection with your emotions. He's on a little small space of earth, so grounded, even with all those emotions around right now, like, so sturdy in spirit, even with all these emotions surrounding you right now, which could be your own emotions or, the emotions you're feeling coming from external. But I mean, if you're in a situation of feeling a lot of external emotions, there may be some internal emotions going on there. And then the five of this, seems like this brethren like down on his luck in essence. Again, these cards could have like a negative picture, but not necessarily mean a negative thing, or just keeping us aware of certain aspects, what I'm saying? Like, and it could be speaking to the aspect of making sure you some tell me like with saving and not being to a place where, like making sure you are valuing your abundance and not just using it frivolously to the point where you end up like this brethren, like Got a little cup out, hoping somebody, you know, throw something in this little cup, you know, and also seeing this person with the axe, and his horse, because the four horsemen are horsemen like judgment, and the axe kind of connect, or not kind of, in the Orisha aspects connected to Shango, and that fiery energy, that expression of, that energy. So also probably like him not acting upon, like, cause look like that Shango energy, like looking at him like, you better stay right there or whatever, whatever. But like, you know, an energy of being in disagreement with, your actions, or not acting upon things, like seeing like he may have disappointed that Shango energy within, you know, and not acting upon certain things. So making sure, we taking the proper actions to align with our highest good right now, you know. But yeah, I don't even want to get into the logical aspects. As a matter of fact, though, I would read from the book, but I ain't. You say you're looking for a crystal that's good for balance. Uh, Shiva Lingam comes to mind with balance of masculine and feminine energies. Also, moss agate is great for balancing the left and the right brain energies, and also lodestone. So moss agate, lodestone, and Shiva Lingam is something that that just came up to me just now. That'd be great for balance. What are the best points on the body to put crystals for relaxing? Uh, I mean, it depends on what you need to relax. You might need to relax your mind. Your mind being overactive, so you need to put some crystals on your head. You know, are your heart been pumping too strong, and you need to put them on your heart. You been too active, overly active in your body, so you need to put some crystals on your root chakra, area, something of that nature. So it depends on, you know, in which ways have you been overactive, like what area do you need to relax. So that's something. Yeah, man. Everything is a balance, the light and the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just one side. Again, it's not going to any extreme. You know, it's like being balanced between these energies. And I do want to check out, since I am new to this little deck. I want to, because again, they be having like cool little perspectives. That's a little unique from this. So this card here connects with growth and success, plans that grow into something life changing, a vision of things no one else thinks are possible. Again, that uniqueness, working hard, take the opportunity offered, prayer for wisdom and intelligence that's connected with that Obatala, because Obatala is almost like the head energy, that intelligence aspect, and get your hands dirty. So, hey, just right quick, the main things. And let's see what this 5 of this. Accept the help that is being offered. So that's almost like what this other card said. Accept the help that's being offered. Do not stay where you are not wanted. A chance to regain what you have lost in a new fashion. Prayer to Shango. But again, we say that's saying, because again, to each his own on how you operate with energies. But I realized that all these Orishas, the Lawas of the Voodoo, or gods of Norse mythology, gods of Greek mythology, God, because they're all kind of just different aspects of the same energies, all exist within us. So we tapping into these energies. Not to each his own. If some people use the word pray or pray to anything, but I don't pray again. I have reverence and respect for these inner God energies, but at the same time, realize that there's something that I could interface with, and I don't have to worship or pray to it in that sense. You know what I'm saying? But again, I brought up how like that aspect of Shango, like looking disappointed. Stop trying the same thing over and over. Mm. Uh, give to beggars. So it more so probably like help. Not say give to all beggars in that sense, but help others out. When they may be dealing with hard times, quote unquote, and be compassionate to the faith of those around you. So interesting perspective. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Again, going into our depths, 3 darkest days. Don't trip out if you're going through, you know, shadow aspect, dark aspects that coming up review, and realize, to, again, acceptance, accepting what is, accept what you went through or what you're going through. You know, don't place any judgment on that energy. It first starts with yourself. Don't place no judgment on yourself. Therefore, it won't extend to others. Making sure you forgive yourself. Because again, more so you're forgiving your human aspect. The laws of Mayat. I am not the person who robbed. I'm not the person who stole. I'm not the person who slapped somebody up at the grocery store. I'm not the person who did this or that. Like I'm not the person like, I'm a soul that's on a human experience that had multiple human experiences. So I'm not just one one incarnation. I'm a soul that has been through many incarnations, and none of them are truly me. They've just been energies that I express, as a soul on a human experience. So, again, so I forgive the human aspect of Carl Ray that used to steal Xanax from his dad. I forgive, because again, you don't want to be harsh on yourself. You know, because again, that's human aspects that you know, but acceptance. And again, sitting there and realizing, like, you know, why do I do this? Where did this start? Oh, it started whenever I started watching my dad do this. I started watching my mom do this. You know, I'm still sexually repressed because my mom and dad never would speak on sex. Well, you know, I accept that I did choose them as my parents. I accept that I did choose that situation to play out. You know, I'm not going to judge them for that because I chose them for my parents. And I forgive myself and them. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like just going through all those motions. And it sounds simple because a lot of it is simple. You know, it's just the hard part of like really, you know, keeping it real because we've been, you know, taught to like be fake about things or run away from ourselves, you know, in some way, form, or fashion. Or we've been in the habitual nature of not like, you know, facing up to these things. So that's what make it seem hard. But once you're able to point it out, you know, it's as simple as, you know, again, like just having that inner dialogue with yourself of that, you know, again, uh, accept, acceptance, you know, again, no judgment, forgiveness, and compassion, you know, basically. And again, we are on a human experience, you know, we are as much as old 5D and 6D and 7D, you know, the 3D, you know, still technically a 3D experience, you know. It's just it's raising into higher dimensions, but you know, again, you're still having a human experience, so ain't nothing wrong with that. Aragonite, you know, is a great crystal for those dealing with that energy, and also having a visualization of seeing yourself rooted, like, you know, also in your meditations or when you're breathing, like really feel all of your body, feel your lungs, feel your rib cage and your bones, feel your muscles, you know, like feel all of your being and making sure you're grounded in your bodysuit, you know, because you're here for a reason, you know. And to each his own. Some people might be here to like, you know, meditate all day and detach from, you know, actually taking actions in their human experience in that sense of it, you know. But for the most part, a lot of us did come down to participate, you know, and you know, we're dealing with, you know, learning more about our soul and our, you know, why we are here and where are we going after this, you know. And part of that is, you know, dealing with your bodysuit accordingly, and keeping your bodysuit intact. Yeah, and juggernaut power. That don't mean be a sucker, be no idiot. You know, yeah, we forgiving and having compassion, but you know, like I have compassion for, you know, I was gonna say like a crocodile, but that doesn't mean I'm a, you know, just go like, hey, Mr. Crocodile, let me stick my head in your mouth. Since I have compassion for, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, because again, the healthy heart chakra deals with discernment, you know, and again, that's part of my, you know, using this pink candle and dealing with that heart chakra energy, being pure heart, and also again, like having heart's discernment, because it's not about just being nice, it's about being authentic, you know, and not just, you know, being nice for what people want to hear, because we're not going to be allowed to tap in to our soul energy and our spiritual gifts to the fullest if we still like, you know, like being weak and giving into certain little aspects, you know what I'm saying, like we have to have discernment, you know, and that's something that I've been having to you know, balance within my reality, because I don't went to the extremes of being like, oh, hey, let's overly, you know, try to hug everybody. But that was also energy I've been dealing with on a karmic level, as being a people pleaser. You know, also having a past life as a politician, pleasing, like saying whatever it is to like coax somebody and people please, you know. So I've been having to deal with that, and then being on the extreme of like, well, shit, I'm just kind of closed off to everybody, mostly everybody, you know. When it's a balance, you know, you just gotta have discernment, you know, not prejudging the situation like, oh, I ain't gonna fuck with them, but I ain't really never came across them or met them before. Like, no, you know, you come across an energy, I feel like I shouldn't talk to this person, or I shouldn't trust this person, or I shouldn't, you know, whatever, then don't. You know? But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Yeah. Don't forget, everybody with the video, hit the like button. Uh, press the little notification bell if you want to get notified every time I post a video or do a live video. Also subscribing. Uh, any and all donations greatly appreciated. Also still connected to that 3 for 3 alls, essential alls, where you get 3 bottles of essential alls for $3. You know, using the promo code. That information will be in the details. After I finish this video off, I have the details, but I also got those details in my past videos as well. And again, any and all donations are greatly appreciated. The donation links is in the details area. You know, I'm not your guru. You know, I am not. You know, again, something to replace your own inner gnosis. You know, you can gain insight from the videos and all that good stuff, but just making sure, you know, because again, like watching TV, you know, other than watching TV, you might just want to watch one of my videos, and that's cool. But you know, just making sure that we're aware of, you know, the whole vibe. Yeah, I have watched the movie Into the Void. That is a fire movie. Yeah, thank you for bringing up that, cause that's another one about like transitioning out of your body and what that situation may seem like. I mean, and also the movie Ghost, for a classic, you know, Patrick Swayze, you know, which I kind of made a comparison. I brought that up when I did a video about schizophrenia, you know, a while back. Damn, that ain't T.O. Dub, huh? Oh, T.O.D's. What's up, bro? Basically it, y'all. I'm about to chill, possibly catch an episode or two of Magician. Yeah, real. I already know. Happy now, now's the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. Peace, y'all.